guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Puma Clyde Hardwood. So this is Puma's new basketball shoe, and they've been releasing a good amount of basketball shoes in the last, I guess, year or two. They've signed a whole bunch of people. They recently just made an entrance into the basketball scene, where they've been on a really long hiatus. So it's good to see Puma back. And this shoe goes for $120. So I guess it's around a little bit more expensive than budget, but I wouldn't say like crazy mid-tier. Mid-tier, I'd say it's around 130 to like 160 bucks, maybe 150 bucks. And then above that is really expensive. So yeah, I mean, the amount of tech that you get from the shoe and how much it is, I feel like it's a pretty good price considering Puma's new on the scene. So if you guys do want to get this, I'll leave a link in the description box. But this is my first impressions. I've just been walking around it. You guys can tell like the outsole is really dirty. But I haven't played in them yet. So let's get to start off with the outsole. So the outsole in this colorway is more of like an off-white. It's really dirty, so it's a little bit harder to tell. But it's more of an off-white color. And it says on their site that this is Puma's high abrasion sticky rubber compound. So I don't really know if it's high abrasion. I mean, if they say it's high abrasion, they're probably gearing it towards obviously hard courts, right? But the herringbone seems a little soft. The rubber moves a little bit. But if Puma's saying that it's made for outdoor use, then I give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it'll probably be pretty durable. So there's two types of herringbones. I guess a little bit thinner of a herringbone here in the toe area, and then more where your forefoot is. It's a more spread out pattern of a herringbone. And then once you get into the heel, you have a diamond pattern below the Puma logo. And then in the heel, you have more of like I call it a flower pattern, I don't really know. But it's really hard and very thick. And that's where you want it to be really hard and really thick, because in the heel, you drag around your heel. Like most people, I do that. And you want it to be durable there. So and also here on the medial side where the ball of your foot is, it does extend here, and it kind of reminds you of like the outsole curvature in the Kyrie's. It's not as rounded as Kyrie's, but like the rubber does come up here. So if you're doing those types of movements, you do get a little bit more grip on the side here. As far as traction goes, it feels like it's going to be really good. I tried on my wood floors and the stop seemed really good. And then there's a little bit of a squeak, but we never know. You never know until you actually play in it. It's just speculation right now. As far as the midsole goes, they're using Pro Foam. So it's full-length Pro Foam, and I'm not too familiar with Puma's technology. If you feel it on the medial side and you kind of squeeze it with your hand, it is pretty soft. But then, look at all this caging. The only exposed part of the midsole is here on the medial side, and everywhere else, in the heel, on the lateral side, even where, the outsole curvature thing is, it's all caged. So, I mean, that's a little too much. Walking around it, I can feel it in the heel just barely. It's, it's barely plush in the heel, and the forefoot can't really feel anything. It's mostly stiff. And I don't really like what Puma's been doing with this. The rubber outsole extends here into the heel. And this does not allow the midsole to compress at all. So it makes it feel a little bit more clunky. I like to have more of a compression in the heel, and that's just my opinion. Otherwise it does feel a little bit more clunky. But it is a very flexible forefoot, and there's a nice little curved shape in the forefoot. So heel to toe transition does not seem bad at all. It's just a little clunky in the heel, but they do make that up by making this shape not as edged out. It's a little bit more rounded. Court feel seems to be good. Impact protection actually seems to be good as well. It's just like, I don't really feel anything from the cushion too much. And it's just slightly soft, not a lot of bounce or anything. So, I mean, if you're looking for a responsive cushion with pretty good impact protection, I feel like this will be a good setup. But as of right now, I'm not like blown away or anything. All right, moving on to the materials. Yeah, Puma's actually been killing it with the materials. So in the forefoot, you have a nice knit material, and it feels quality, very premium, and feels incredible on foot. And that's just in the forefoot here. And then in the ankle area and also in the midfoot, you have a very premium feeling leather. The leather feels great, and you have some touches of suede here on the medial side, and also here in the heel where the Puma logo is, and it's actually gold in this colorway. The tongue is also this leather material. And there's quite a bit of padding here in the ankle area, and then of course you do have an external TPU heel counter. But like in my opinion, materials don't really matter as much in the ankle area as they do in the forefoot, because your foot's mostly moving here, and that's where you feel the material. In the ankle area, most shoes, they have a lot of foam, and then whatever material is like on the outside of that, is whatever it is, it really doesn't matter. So, and also they're using a good quality leather, so I'm not mad at it at all. And the knit feels great. It's not super thin, not super minimal, but also it's not like to the point where it's like too thick and really hot feeling like LeBron 17, LeBron 16. Yeah, materials I really do like. And also the tongue is attached to a material that goes underneath everything, so it's like a half booty tongue, really easy to just slip your foot in. And I also really like how low the eyelets come down here into the toe area, because it allows you to, you know, tighten up where your toes are, and a lot of shoes don't do that. Most shoes, like, they usually start more in the around the midfoot area. So I like how Puma added this little eyelet here in the toe area. As far as fit goes, fit go true to size. It's an incredible fit for me. I would say it's around normal to slightly narrow as far as width wise goes. The toe area it's a little snug, you know, but that's nothing to worry about, because, you know, most knit materials do stretch out, I mean, once you break it in. And as far as ported long down goes, I'm not sure yet. You know, I haven't played in these, but I will mention that, you know, this caging does come up here a lot on the lateral side. And you guys can see the upper does come down here into this opaque caging, so that does help support you for lateral movements, it feels like. And of course, you do have an external TPU heel counter here in the heel. It's not really an outrigger, but it is pretty wide. It is a low base as well, so I feel like support and lockdown will be really good in the shoe. As far as the weight goes, yeah, this shoe is really heavy, 14.74 ounces. It doesn't really feel crazy bulky though, you know, it feels slightly heavy, you know, like you feel the weight a little bit, but it doesn't feel bulky at all. You know, there's not a lot of bulk on this shoe. I feel like most of the weight is coming like from like this caging, like the plastic, you know, the TPU heel counter, and like the leather materials. So it doesn't feel crazy bulky, and it feels like it'll be fast. You know, the traction seems good and all that, and fit is really good for me. So I feel like, you know, I feel pretty responsive playing this, but it does feel a little heavy. So there's the weight there. And as far as the aesthetics go, I love this shoe, and I love what Puma is doing, mixing, you know, casual use, casual wear with, you know, basketball performance. You know, this looks like a regular shoe that you can just walk around in. And I love that, you know, because not a lot of people can afford just a basketball shoe and a casual shoe or whatever, you know. I feel like you can just rock these off court and on court really well, and Puma did a good job designing these. So wrapping things up, you know, my first impressions of the shoe are really great. The only thing I don't really like too much about the shoe is, I guess, the weight. I feel like they could have, you know, made it a little bit lighter, but that's not a huge deal. Also, the cushion, I feel like, you know, they need to make it a little bit better, because most of their shoes that I've tried, you know, the cushion hasn't been great. So, but other than that, for 120 bucks, it feels like it'll be a really good performer. So again, if you guys want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.